Hello, America, and welcome back to Person of the Week. I'm your host, Matt Strasser, and we've got a very special guest today. He's a radio legend, formerly the host of The Morning Show on Star 101.3, and currently the host of The Morning Show on 103.7 The Oldies, Don Blue.
Nice to be here.
So let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
So how did this all happen? How did it all begin?
You mean the radio career?
Yes, your radio career.
I was going to the University of North Dakota, and I had a fraternity brother whose name at that point I believe was Jefferson K.
Nice.
And he's in radio, so that was a couple of radio names ago. His radio name is now Shadow Stevens, and
Nice.
he's in Los Angeles, and I think he's the announcer on the, who's the Scottish guy, the late night comedian. Anyway, that's what he's doing now. But he had started in radio when he was 16 because his uncle owned radio stations. And we had gone to school together. I just, he said, why don't you come down and look at the radio station? I was selling shoes at the time. Radio smelled way better than shoes. It was all good. Went down there, started doing, what I started to do actually was in between the halves of the basketball game, they'd go back to the station. Now we'll go back to the station, and here's the weather, and whatever. So that's what I would do, just like 5 minutes a night.
Okay.
And then pretty soon, he actually was doing a nighttime show, and after he took a new job and left, I took over for him doing the nighttime show there. Then he went to Fargo, North Dakota. This was all happening in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Went to Fargo, North Dakota. When he left there, and I think went to Phoenix or somewhere, I went to Fargo, and then after that I went to Minneapolis, and then Los Angeles, and then San Francisco, and hello. Here we are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in San Francisco. So now you're working at, of course, the Oldies 103.7.
Right.
What's a typical day on the job?
It starts in the nighttime.
Okay.
It's because I get up about 4 o'clock, and I cry in the shower for a little while because it's so early.
Right.
It's fine, and then so I actually drive into the city when it's just me and the highway patrol on the roads.
Awesome.
And cruise control, cup of coffee, all good, no traffic. So I start on the air at 6 o'clock. And most of the preparation, when you say how do you put the show together or whatever, we have 2 or 3 people, usually a fabulous intern that helps us out. And so we're doing things like current events, we're doing news stories, we're doing Dish, which is Hollywood kind of stuff, a prank phone call, some games called Generation Gap, and we throw all these things in with the music, and there's your show. And
is it all live, or
it's all live, more or less. I mean, we will take a phone call and perhaps tape the phone call and edit it so that there's just not a lot of superfluous stuff on.
Right.
But then in general, we'll go on the air live and play back the tape of the phone call. So I mean, is it live? That portion of the phone call is not live, but the show is live. Yeah.
So it's not. How many people are generally in the studio? Like 4?
Yeah, I have a co-host, Carolyn, who's fabulous. Irish Greg is our technical engineer, runs the equipment. And then we'll have an intern most days, which are hard to find because they don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I don't blame them. Yeah. Anybody out there, 4 o'clock in the morning,
yes.
It's a wonderful time.
Internships. But that's interesting that you can do such a big show with
4 people?
With 4 people.
Well, technology allows you to do all this stuff. Everything that used to be on records then was on cassette tapes and then was on CDs is now on computer.
Yeah.
And so, obviously that doesn't take much space or even much equipment to run that sort of stuff. Makes it a lot easier. Also, finding your information, it used to be you're going through newspapers or watching television shows or whatever. Now it's all on the internet. It's all pretty easy to discover. So it's easy to do a show with 1 person, and with 4 is a luxury.
Right, yeah. So, do you have any advice for people trying to get into radio?
Well, yeah, I think, something like this is fabulous where you're doing everything. That's the key is that I went to, I did a little broadcast school.
That's all. That's actually, I'll have to stop you there. But thank you so much. That's actually all the time we have for today. But thank you for watching Person of the Week. I'm Matt Strasser, and wishing you all a happy work week. Goodbye.